Being starstruck since I was a child, I've always wanted to visit Hollywood, and I finally made it happen. Two of my favorite actresses are actually close chums, and especially precious to me. Julie reminds me of my mom and Nana, and well, Carol reminds me a bit of me. It's kind of funny because as a child I was obsessed with Annie, and I used to tell people when I grew up I wanted to be a millionaire secretary like Grace Farrell, and I ended up becoming Miss Hannigan. Julie Andrews was big on Broadway in 1956 in My Fair Lady, but she had no national exposure at the time. And when the film version came out, Hollywood went with Audrey Hepburn for the part, even though she couldn't even sing. It's okay though, because Julie won the Oscar and Golden Globe for Mary Poppins that year, so she got her revenge. Carol is 2 years older than Julie. They're around the same age that my parents were. They both grew up very poor. They both had divorced parents, both had careers in musical theater. Carol saw My Fair Lady, and Julie saw Carol's Once Upon a Mattress. And Julie's manager came backstage and asked Carol if she would like to get dinner with Julie. And Carol jumped at the chance, but was a little nervous because she expected a refined English lady. Well, that's not Julie. Turns out Julie Andrews has a great sense of humor, swears like a sailor, and loves practical jokes. The two women hit it off instantly and decided that they had to work together. It was decided it would be a TV show at Carnegie Hall. Well, CBS didn't go for it, and they said nobody even knew who Julie Andrews was, and Carol wasn't a big enough star yet. And you have to think Mary Poppins and Sound of Music hadn't been released yet, so Julie wasn't a household name yet, and Carol typically played a second banana. So the story goes that Carol was at a CBS luncheon at a hotel. She was seated amongst some executives, and she blurted out something like, "It's a real shame you passed on the special. Julie and I do look better in color anyways." At the time, CBS's rival, NBC, was the only network in color. So the men started asking, "What do you mean? What are you talking about?" And Carol was like, "Yeah, we're going to do a special at Carnegie Hall. It's going to be pretty big. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your lunch," and she left. A few minutes later, Carol was trying to find a taxi. She couldn't find one, and the executives were now exiting the hotel. They offered to wait with her until she found a taxi, but Carol waved them away. "Nonsense, I always find my ride." And then a huge delivery truck rolled by that Carol flagged down. The driver stopped, and Carol yelled, "Can I get a ride to Central Park West?" "Hop in, honey," the driver said, and before she climbed in the truck's cab, she turned to the executives, waved, and said, "See you at Carnegie Hall." Well, that night, one of the executives called Carol and said, "Congratulations, you just sold yourself a special. Anyone who can pull off that stunt deserves to have their very own show." The special was so successful that CBS set up a 2-month tour around the country for Julie and Carol, but Julie got pregnant and was offered to do Mary Poppins after the delivery. And Carol didn't want to do it without Julie, because they were both such great friends at this point, and she didn't really see herself as a singer, not like Julie anyways. She saw herself more of a comedy sketch type or duet. They did collaborate on a couple other occasions though, and they stayed friends all these years. Reading both their autobiographies, I find that they're both very relatable, down to earth, funny people, and they seem to have a positive outlook on life, and that's how I try to be. So I feel like they're a good influence, and I definitely recommend their autobiographies to anybody who's interested in books or audiobooks.
Four guys who were with us didn't have a prayer. Now, Julie and I never stopped yapping.
Bring to Julie, what does Julie bring to you on stage?
Somebody else is going to have to tell me that.
I would hope she brings me class. I don't know what I could give to her, except my love and support.
And you do.
And a 1, and a 2, and a 3, and a 4, and da-dun-da-dun-dun-dun.
We used to joke that we might do like one special a decade. We dreamed of Julian Carroll at the London Palladium, Julian Carroll at La Folie Bergère, perhaps at the Palace, Buckingham, of course, the Bolshoi, the Great Wall of China, maybe, until finally we imagined that our last performance together in our dotage would be Julian Carroll in the basement of the YMCA. Chum, I love you. You are indeed a national treasure, and I hope we have many, many silly, wonderful years ahead of us together.